speaking to you from Carlsbad, California. Another week, another life, another minute. What can I tell you? Here I am to delight you, to answer all of your questions, and to pose a few questions of mine, and to see what we can do about transforming the state of small business worldwide as we become the preeminent provider of economic development services worldwide. Well, let me just start out with the questions I've been asked since last week, and there are many, many more, and I'm inviting you to send me every question you have. You can send them here to me on Facebook. You can send them to my personal email at Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, at michaelegerber.com. Or you can send them by Homer Pigeon or whatever you wish. Somebody just asked a question, and his name is Greg from Buffalo, New York, and Greg is starting a company, wants to know how to best organize it. Should he start it as a sole proprietorship? Should he start it as a C Corp? Should he start it as an LLC, an LLP, a PUP, whatever he might want to start it as? I would say, Greg, very simply go to LegalZoom.com. You're asking me a legal question, not a business question, albeit, of course, it is a business question in the context, but it's not a business question in fact. So go to LegalZoom really quickly, and you'll get a very, very simple and straightforward and legal answer to your question. The second question I got is from Crystal in Boston. I love the name Crystal because it delights me. And Crystal asked, what inspired you to write the, in quotes, Beyond the E-Myth trilogy? Well, Crystal, I didn't write the Beyond the E-Myth trilogy. And in fact, I haven't written the trilogy as such. But we're boxing the three most critical books in all my E-Myth lexicon, which are three: The E-Myth Revisited, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, and my final E-Myth book called Beyond the E-Myth. You'll get it when you think about the subtitles of each of those books. The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, and they most certainly don't. Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, How Ordinary People Can Create Extraordinary Companies Without Any Experience to Guide Them. And my final E-Myth book, Beyond the E-Myth, The Evolution of an Enterprise from a Company of One to a Company of 1,000. Those three books are soon to be the E-Myth trilogy. Now, they're all available singly, but we're going to be publishing a special edition in hardback of those three in a box. I'm advising every single one of you to buy a box. This will go down in history as the singularly most important work on how to grow a company of one to a company of 1,000. Everybody might believe they've got a solution to business problems, but I've got to say to you, we actually have solved business problems over the past 40 years of the work I've been doing. And not only that, created among the most successful companies on the planet. So, the next question. Gentleman would like to know, Kevin from Del Mar, how does somebody really know that he or she has created a company that can compete in an overcrowded marketplace? Well, Kevin, if you follow my instruction, and it's very clearly and explicitly written, if you follow my instruction, there are 8 singular steps to the business development process every single one of you must follow. And as you take those very clearly defined steps, and I'll state what they are in just a moment, At the end of each of those steps, you will have learned more about what in fact is true about your company and what isn't. To define yourself in an overcrowded marketplace is to be eloquently different from everybody in that overcrowded marketplace. I like to call it disrupt that overcrowded marketplace for best purpose. In short, the outcome of what you're setting out to do will determine the steps you take in the process to do it. So what are those 8 steps? Well, the first is you must have a dream. And a dream is a great result. You must have a vision, and your vision is the form your company is meant to take. You must have a purpose, and the purpose is the profound impact you intend your company to have on your most important consumer, which obviously suggests you have to know who your most important consumer is, and you have to know what their most important problem is. But not only that, you have to know what's missing in this picture. You have to know what's missing in their lives. You have to know what, in fact, they truly crave in their life in order for you to go to work on the evolution of your company to prepare it to fill that missing piece. The 4th step is you have to have a mission. And your mission is to invent the system through which your company will achieve its dream, its vision, and its purpose. The system is clear. So there are 4 very distinct personalities in the entrepreneur who's setting out on this path to do this work. The dreamer has a dream. The thinker has a vision. The storyteller has a purpose. And the leader has a mission. The dream, the vision, the purpose, the mission. The first 4 steps. Now we're going to take that platform, because you're building a platform with your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission. Without a platform, your company just wanders around doing stupid, silly stuff. With that platform, you've now got a foundation upon which to build the evolution of an enterprise, which is what? First, a job, second, a practice, third, a business, only third, and 4th, an enterprise. You go to work on the job to create your client fulfillment system. Your client fulfillment system is the product, it's the service your company is preparing to deliver. The second step is the practice. The practice requires that you go to work to create a client acquisition system so that your client fulfillment system is continually receiving not only accolades, but yes, I want that. Yes, I want that from the people you're reaching out to. So client acquisition, client fulfillment, that's the practice. That's in fact the 3-legged stool of your great company. That's what I like to call your franchise prototype. Yes, every single one of you must go to work on NewCo, your new company, to create your franchise prototype. Because without your franchise prototype, you can't scale it. Understand that each and every one of those systems must be documented. They must be written down. They must be checklists. They must describe the actual process for producing results in your company. That's the missing piece in every company I walk into. There is nothing written down. There is no systems solution. You absolutely must design, build, launch, test, to grow it, which takes you to the 4th step in this process after the first phase of the foundation is built. So the foundation is your dream, your vision, your purpose, your mission. And now we're into the practice and just completed it. And now we're going to build a business. What is a business? A business is nothing other than up to 7 turnkey practices. See the Lego blocks. See the Lego blocks. You understand, when Kevin asks me, how do I know that it can compete? It's very simple, because it is. You understand, you build it that way. You design it that way. You validate it that way. You've heard me say in my books, innovation, quantification, orchestration. You quantify the profound impact of what you're capable of doing. Now you've created a business, up to 7 turnkey processes plus a turnkey management system. And now you're going to get to the enterprise. And the enterprise, guess what? Is nothing other than up to 7 turnkey businesses plus a turnkey leadership system. It's so simple, friends. No, not easy, but simple. To understand, once you can see it clearly, once you can put your mind around it clearly, once you can communicate it clearly, once you can do it clearly, you own it clearly. And that's the whole point of this, isn't it? That a great company is a company preparing itself for acquisition. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, we're all mortal. Ultimately, when we're done with this job of creating a great growing company, when we're done with this job, there is going to be a lineup of companies who wish to acquire it as the most valuable small company on the planet. From a company of 1 to a company of 1,000. Disrupt for best purpose. So Jessica asked me a question. Jessica from Philadelphia, PA. It's always tough to scale up emotionally and financially. What's your favorite piece of advice for a solopreneur looking to bring on their first employee? Here's my favorite advice. I just gave it to you. Be ready. In short, you don't bring on your first employee until you're ready for your first employee. And you're not ready for your first employee until you've invented the system for your first employee. Because you're going to bring somebody on to utilize a system that you've invented, you've created, you've tested at the very beginning to know that it works. You're going to test your focus, your commitment, Jessica, to creating a great growing company. And the first test is the test of your focus. The first test is the test of your discipline. The first test is your test, the test of your understanding of the model that I'm sharing with you. Do you understand this model is an immutable model for growth? Immutable, unchangeable. It's a ritual that, should you follow it to the degree that I'm suggesting you should, you will create companies unlike anything most people have ever thought to create. But you've got to have the will. I love to say, if you've got the will, we've got the way. Because we do. We've done this tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of times. You get to do it. But you got to be a great student. Do you understand? You've got to be a great student. My saxophone teacher told me when I was 11 years old, standing in front of this chubby little guy, he said, I only teach people who want to become the best saxophone players on the planet. And I've only got one way to do it. And I only have one way to do it because I've tested every way to do it. And this is the one way that works. So I'll say to you, Jessica, there's no guessing needed. This is the one way that works. It's a process. It's a process. It's an absolutely immutable process that every single one of you can utilize to create a great growing company. At what point in the growth of a business do you need to start considering a controller or a CFO? What are the signs that you need one as opposed to just having a bookkeeper on staff? You need a CFO from the very beginning. This is from Tom in Orlando. You need a CFO from the very beginning, Tom. I don't necessarily mean you need a guy sitting there all day watching you from the very beginning, but you need a CFO mindset from the very beginning, even before the very beginning, to test the logic of your conclusions. Because understand, the logic of your conclusions at the very beginning are always going to be faulty. Mine have been. Everybody I've ever met has been. You need to understand the mathematics of a business. You need to understand the way the numbers come together. And that CFO is a critical role. So if you want to know how to choose that CFO, I can provide you with the very, very distinct way of doing that. All you need to do is to contact me at michael@michaelegerber.com, and I'll provide you with exactly what you need to make certain you're prepared to grow from a company of 1 to a company of 1,000. To each and every one of you, every single one of you, the financial reality of your company begins at the very beginning with the idea you have about that company from the very beginning. Remember, a company of 1 to a company of 1,000. There's no other reason for doing what you're doing. This gentleman says, and it's Chris from Denver, Colorado, my specialty is in digital marketing and analyzing data. I've made a tremendous amount of ground at my company with the freedom to do marketing the way I feel it should be done. I know in my industry, marketing is an afterthought, and we've seized the space because of that mindset. I would love to know from a small business perspective what importance they play on marketing and you using it as a growth factor for their business. Well, you would talk to people, and the kinds of responses you'd get from small business people, you'd end up believing that they truly do believe marketing is very important. But understand, they don't understand what marketing is. Now, hear me, Chris, I'm not saying that you understand what marketing is, but I'm going to suggest marketing is something significantly other than what most people think it to be. Most people call it, whether it be digital or whatever it is. Hear me, marketing is something much different than what most people think it is. Marketing for Business Growth was one of the most important books I've ever read. Gentleman asked me, what books do you really, really enjoy? The most important book I've ever read on business, I don't even know if it can be bought now, is Marketing for Business Growth by Theodore Levitt. Theodore Levitt is no longer with us. He was a professor of marketing at Harvard University. Marketing for Business Growth. Find it if you can. Read it when you get it, and read it a couple of times. That book will blow your mind. Now hear me, that book was written sometime back in the 60s. Yeah, I'm talking about the 1960s, not the 1860s, not that far back. Yeah, I'm going on 81, but I'm not, you understand? So, Theodore Levitt, one of my 2 favorite business authors. Gentleman asked me who is my favorite business author, and that is Chris Goshen, Goshen in Indiana. Chris says that I'm one of his favorites. Well, I am my favorite small business author. But you got to understand, I don't think of business authors as small business authors or big business authors because I see the logic being identically the same. The greatest business authors are the one I just mentioned. And the second is an extraordinary gentleman. And that extraordinary gentleman is Al Ries, R-I-E-S, who wrote that most magnificent book of all magnificent books, Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind. So here are 2 books you got to get. Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind by Ries, and Marketing for Business Growth by Theodore Levitt. two of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest. Theodore Levitt is no longer with us. Al Ries most certainly is, though he spends all of his time, Ries and Ries, himself and his absolutely stunningly beautiful daughter, serving large corporations. But what they do in the service of large corporations is what you need to do in your mind. So get it. I need my own roadmap. After that, how to inspire employees to be a part of innovation of NewCo and how to compensate them effectively, not only over time for setting up a system. Will an additional compensation be an effective way for employees to participate? How to separate team for NewCo and OldCo effectively? Well, So Yun from Los Angeles is asking me this question about my business model. My business model I call TwoCo, capital TWOCO, TwoCo. You get it? TwoCo. What is TwoCo? It's OldCo and NewCo. What's OldCo? It's what you do right now into the past. What's NewCo? It's what you do over here right now into the future. The purpose of going to work on OldCo is to create sustainability. The purpose of going to work on NewCo is to create growth. The two are separate from each other. In fact, if you think about it as a triad, you could see your parent company here, call that whatever you wish to call that Michael E. Gerber Companies, call that John Smith's company, and over here on the left you've got OldCo, and over here on the right you've got NewCo, two divisions of this company. The OldCo division must be organized in such a way that it can be maintaining stability, sustainability. But where all of the time and energy and capital must be spent is on NewCo, from a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. So the people in NewCo are different than the people in OldCo. Different teams, compensated differently, measured differently. Each of them has a very distinct strategy and purpose they're focused on. So if I can get you to think TwoCo, if I can get you to split your attention from OldCo to NewCo and free yourself from all of the effervescence that comes from you focused on trying to fix OldCo, to spend, in fact, all of your best time and energy on creating NewCo, something stunning will occur. I'd love to be able to teach you how to do that, and I'm going to invite you to learn more about that. Go to michaelegerbercompanies.com. That's michaelegerber.com/web/the-course. COURSE, the course. It's a video course. It's 10 videos taking you through the process from the dream, the vision, the purpose, the mission, the job, the practice, the business, the enterprise. Go get the course. That's the first step toward understanding TwoCo, toward understanding why all of the money and time and energy you spend on fixing OldCo is all wasted time. The most important time is spent on NewCo, starting with a foundation, a dream, a vision, a purpose, a mission that you can stand on, that produces the positive reinforcement for everything you're setting out to do to transform the state of small business or whatever your dream is worldwide. You're getting ready to scale. You're getting ready to scale for sale so that you can build something with deep, deep, compelling meaning to it. Meaning to the people you're here to serve. So let me say it again, michaelegerbercompanies.com, michaelegerbercompanies.com/web, W-E-B, /the, capital T-H-E hyphen course, C-O-U-R-S-E. You'll come to a landing page. You can read all about the course and then click here called Buy Now. Buy the course. It's the beginning of a new life. I can promise you that. Now, once you buy the course, you can also, of course, go get the book by the very same name, Beyond the E-Myth, The Evolution of an Enterprise from a Company of One to a Company of 1,000. This book will blow your mind. It's the third E-Myth book of the E-Myth trilogy and the final E-Myth book of the E-Myth trilogy. So thank you for that. I'm not sure I can pronounce this gentleman's name, Olajumoke. Olajumoke, from Nigeria. He asks me what inspires me. The unlimited possibilities of the creative mind. I'm born to create. We're born in the image of God. If we're born in the image of God, but of course we're born to create. Human beings are creators, unless they're not. But if we're not, we've missed the main purpose for us being here. What inspires me is to watch the millions of people we have served over these past 40 years, yes, millions, to watch them create a life beyond anything they'd ever created before. I want to do the same thing with you. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. Who was your favorite small business author? Chris asks. Why? Me, of course. Thanks. Be well. Bye-bye.